Hello, folks. Welcome to your Honors Algebra 2 assignment titled Evaluating Functions and Fractions Practice. As with any assignment, a great way to start is to take just a few moments to read the directions. Let's read them together. So on this particular document, you are supposed to evaluate each function, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what that means in just a few minutes. Remember, when you do any assignment, it's important to show all of your work. Remember, any problem that has a fraction in it, and this will be for the whole year, any problem that has a fraction in it should have the work and the answer in fraction form. Super important. That'll give you the opportunity to get much better with your fractions. Please try your best to not use a calculator. Remember, without your calculator, you are smart. And please check and fix your work with the included answer key. Let's get started. So for problem number 1, we would read this as P of n. If it's been a while since you've done function notation, we have P of n equals 3 halves times 2 to the power of n minus 3 over 2. And we're asked to find P of 1. So what you might begin to notice in this particular problem is that we started with P of n, and they're asking us to find P of 1. So a great way to start is just to replace the n with the 1. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So we're going to go ahead and instead of writing P of n, we're going to replace that n with a 1. And so what that means is that anywhere in the problem I see an n, I now need to replace that n right there, with a 1. And really, I only see one n in the expression to the right of the equal sign in our equation. So I'll only have to substitute or use the principle of substitution one time. So I'm going to now rewrite the problem and replace that n you see with a 1. And whenever I substitute my values in, I always like to keep them safe with parentheses. And now we get to rely on our friend, the order of operations. So let's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or our parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division get done in the order that you see them, and then addition and subtraction get done in the order that you see them. So I see an exponent. I got to take care of that first. So I have to do 3 halves times 2 to the first. 2 to the first power is 2. And then I'll bring down the rest of the problem. What I then notice is I have multiplication and subtraction, and in our order of operations, I should multiply before I subtract. A little shortcut for you fraction fans out there, we are allowed to cross-cancel common factors. So I can write 2 as 2 over 1, and then if I look across the diagonals in my multiplication problem, I notice I have 2's. Those 2's cross-cancel. It's a little bit of a shortcut for you. Now, if you didn't use the shortcut, just a quick review, to multiply fractions, you can multiply straight across and then reduce. So what you're noticing in my shortcut there is that I had 3 times 2 originally, but when I cross-cancel the 2's, those become 1's. So if I do 3 times 2, that's 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 over 2 would give me 3, but in cross-canceling the factors of 2, I see I have just 3 over 1. So the product there is just, oops, I grabbed the highlighter, is just 3. So this will be 3. 3 over 2 times 2 over 1 is 6 over 2, which is 3, or, cross cancel your 2's, you get 3 over 1, and that's 3. And then we have minus 3 over 2. Now, when we subtract fractions, you need to recall you need a common denominator. The common denominator between 1 and 2, since 2 is prime, is just 2. So I need to multiply the top and bottom of my first fraction by 2. Rewriting my first fraction there with a denominator of 2, now that they have that denominator in common, 3 over 1 has an equivalent fraction of 6 over 2, minus 3 over 2, and 6 over 2 minus 3 over 2 is 3 over 2. Now, after all of this work, I sure want to know if I got that answer correct. So at this point in time, I'm going to run to that answer key And that answer key is just on the pages that are included in our file. So we'll scroll along, and hey, check that out. Happiness for a mathematician is when your answer matches the answer on the answer key. So exciting. So yeah, I got that one right. I'm sure you got it right too. Nice job. So we put a little C next to it because we got it right. Let's do just a couple more. So in number 2, remember the first step is to substitute, use our principle of substitution to replace what we know about x in for x in the problem. So in this case, if we just read the problem, we have g of x equals x cubed minus 3 over 2 times x squared. Or we could read that as g of x equals x cubed minus 3 halves x squared. We're supposed to find g of negative 4, which means that wherever I see an x, I'm supposed to substitute in a negative 4. So let's just set this up. So we have g of x, and in where that x is supposed to go is a negative 4. And I'm going to go ahead now, and wherever I see an x, I can open up my blank there. So I have x to the third. So blank to the third. And in that blank right there, it should be negative 4. And then I have to do minus 3 over 2 times our x squared times blank squared. Because wherever there's an x, I can put whatever I want in there. That's the beauty of function notation. Put whatever you want in for that x right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the order of operations. So negative 4 cubed is negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. And you're going to get a lot of exposure to that number, one of our first 5 perfect cubes. You'll have to have those memorized at some point in time here in our course, probably around chapter 5. But 4 is our 4th perfect cube. When we cube it, you get negative 64. So negative 64, rather, is our 4th perfect cube that I want you to be aware of. So negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 64. And then I would go ahead and bring down my 3 halves because I see another exponent hiding there. Negative 4 times itself, negative 4 times negative 4, that's 16. And because it's next to the fraction there, I'm going to write that as 16 over 1. All right, I got to multiply before I subtract again. And I am going to cross cancel common factors. So if I look across the diagonal, or maybe across the butterfly wings, I think some of the middle school teachers use that. So if I look diagonally across my fraction here, 2 and 16 do have a common factor of 2. That common factor of 2 goes into 2 one time, but it goes into 16 8 times. And then multiplying straight across the top there. So bring down my minus. And then I have 3 times 8. That's 24. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So really all I have here is basically negative 64 minus 24. And the last time I checked, that's negative 88. So I'm going to circle that answer. I think it's my answer. I'm going to run down to my answer key. Take a peek there. Oh, look at that. Number 2, our answer was negative 88. So we did it. I should just take a quick moment to let you know that there's more than one right way to write these answers. It is kind of cool. We're going to go ahead and graph some of these functions as we pursue our study of Honors Algebra 2. So remember that we plugged negative 4 in as an x value, and we got negative 88 out as a y value. So another acceptable way to write your response in this case is as an ordered pair, where you have an x coordinate and a y coordinate, or an x coordinate and then a g of x coordinate. So, g of x is the same as y. Or f of x is the same as y. Another way of writing your answer is to write it as an ordered pair. So what's cool about that, whoops, not that, that's for sure, is that this graph will actually contain the point negative 4, comma negative 88. So whether you want to write your answer as just a number or as an ordered pair, both are fantastic. So way to get this done. All right, let's do one more. And I'm trying to look at number 3 and 4 here. I think number 4 looks a little weirder, so let's take a look at that. So we have W of A equals 3 3 raised to the A minus 2 power. So what we see here is that we have W of A equals 3, and then we have that raised to the A minus 2 power. So we have A minus 2 as our exponent. And where that A goes, excuse me, is supposed to be a 1. So let's throw that 1 in those blanks right there. We're going to go ahead and simplify that exponent. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then if you remember your properties of exponents, I'm sure your Algebra 1 keystones, these were all over the place, but the negative exponent rule more or less just states that anything raised to a negative exponent needs to move to the opposite position in the fraction. So if 3 raised to the negative first is technically in the numerator of a fraction, to simplify 3 to the negative first, we need to put 3 to the first in the bottom. And then we have 1 as a placeholder on top. So the answer to this is actually 1/3. Remember, you could also write it as an ordered pair. So the answer there would be 1, 1/3. But either way, we run as fast as we can to that answer key because our brain needs that feedback in order to learn. And we did get it right. See there, number 4 is 1/3. Alrighty there, friends. I hope you found this video super helpful in helping you get a jump start. I'm just kind of scanning it very quickly there. I think you guys are going to do a fantastic job with this particular assignment. Feel free to email me if you have any questions that cannot wait until the next time we meet, but I'll look forward to going through this with you very soon. Have fun.